everyone, I'm Heba and welcome back. I have a brand new eyeshadow palette from a relatively new indie brand. And when I say relatively new, I believe they are under a year old. So the palette and the brand that I'm talking about is this one, Be Mine by Heritage Cosmetics. Back in January, I believe, I was watching Brit Clarke do her live of Will I Buy It? And someone mentioned this brand in the eyeshadow palette, and so Brit brought it up on screen. And yeah, it was beautiful and I was hooked. So I went online that same evening and pre-ordered this palette. I'll link Brit Clarke's channel down below and I hope you check her out. I simply love her. She does a lot of lives, so everything's off the cuff there, and she is an artist with her makeup. So I was glad to catch that live and for someone to mention this palette by Heritage Cosmetics. And a lot of these indie brands do have great formulas, great pigmentation for a very good price, including this one, Heritage Cosmetics. I'm gonna look online to let you know about Heritage Cosmetics, and there's not really much information about it because there's not a, an about tab to let you know about this company. The only thing I know is that it's out of California, but they do have a little paragraph here. It does say, I welcome you all to Heritage Cosmetics, a brand that will complement every type of heritage style. From heritage to culture to traditions, lifestyles, and even music. I hope you'll enjoy every product just as much as we enjoyed creating it for you. And then follow us on Instagram and Facebook. So that's pretty much the only information that I have from Heritage Cosmetics. So when I saw Brit's live and someone mentioned it, I went ahead and ordered it, and it was back in January, and they weren't able to ship it until March 6th. So even though this palette does have, a Valentine's Day theme, we weren't able to get it until March. And this palette costs $32 and there is $5.90 shipping. But when I placed an order, there was no tax. So let me show you the cover of this palette, Be Mine. Again, it's very Valentine-y, very loving. And this is what the back looks like. There's no names on these shades. It does have cardboard packaging with a magnetic closure, and it does have a mirror inside. And you're able to flip the lid back to hold it like this, which is very nice for me. So here is the Be Mine palette. You have 18 shades here, a combination of mattes, metallics, and there are 2 pressed glitters. And then these 2 on the end, on the first and last row, are the pressed glitters. I mean, I was drawn to it when I saw it on Brit's Live. And it's not a bad price for 18 shades, $32. So they have eyeshadow palettes, lashes, which I don't use, and liquid lipsticks, which I'm not a big fan of liquid lipstick. So I'll just concentrate on the eyeshadow palettes. And the other eyeshadow palettes that they have, I want to show it to you. One is the Autumn Eyes palette, and that one looks pretty good. I'm kind of interested in that one. And then the Smoky Eyes palette, that one's going to be a little too much for me. Too much blue. And then the Matte Transitions palette, another one that I'm kind of eyeing because I could already tell you right now that the formula just blend out beautifully. I did 2 looks and they are just beautiful. I hope you can see the different shades that I used. They're not muddying up. The metallic shades do have that reflectiveness to it. I didn't use the pressed glitter because, I was a little nervous with it. Didn't want it to fall into my eye. It made a mess everywhere on my clothes after I swatched it. My arms just keep scraping against my clothes. So yeah, I didn't use the pressed glitters, but the shades that I used, you could see, they are beautiful. Very pretty. Enough so that I'm really checking into getting some other palettes from them. I have to admit, when I first saw this one, the Be Mine palette, my mind did go to the Sydney Grace, another indie brand, with their Be Mine palette. Let me go ahead and show them both to you. I also did some comparison swatches of this palette with some other Sydney Grace eyeshadows. Yeah, even though they are the same name, they are kind of different. And also with the Sydney Grace Be Mine palette, there was a sticker included in the palette, in the package. There were a couple of stickers included with this one by Heritage. There is a sticker here that says With Love, and another sticker that says Be Your Own Kind of Beautiful. So just like I did with the Sydney Grace, putting it in the inside, I think that's what I'm going to do with this palette. Go ahead, put it in the inside. Giving you a little spoiler alert, I think the formula between the one by Heritage Cosmetics and Sydney Grace are very similar. Maybe Sydney Grace has a little bit more pigmentation with some of the shades in here, but I have to say that they are very comparative. Very comparative, with their own little Heritage Cosmetics touch. I think this is a sticker. I'm trying really hard to get the backing off. Finally got the stickers on, and I put the With Love on the inside here in the mirror. I think that's a good place for it. And then that quote, the circle one, I put it on the back because there's really nothing on the back. There's no names of the shades, so I went ahead and placed it on the back. Be your own kind of beautiful. Almost forgot to mention this, and this is quite important. They do not have this palette anymore. It's out of stock, and I reached out to them on Instagram to see if they're going to restock it, and they said no, probably next year. So unfortunately, this palette is not available right now. That's a shame because this is a beautiful palette. But they do have 3 other palettes, and I'm looking into 2 of them, and hopefully they'll continue to grow and create new palettes. But unfortunately, this one's not available anymore, but hopefully, fingers crossed, they can make more next year. That's a shame because this is a beautiful palette, but that's what happens with these indie brands. They're very small, cash flow is not that much, so they can't, be out there like these big companies like Chanel, Pat McGrath, even Sydney Grace. Even though it's an indie brand, they've been out for several years, and so they're building on what they have. So I hope that Heritage Cosmetics will continue to grow and keep building and make more of this palette or new palettes. So let's go ahead and jump into swatches, and I'll show you how I came up with these 2 looks. And I have to admit, these are beautiful looks. Very pretty. And then I'll see you on the other side, and we'll do some comparisons of some of the shades that are in this palette comparing to some Sydney Grace palettes and others. Let's go ahead and swatch the Be Mine palette. Again, here is the front cover, and here's the back. Really nothing on the back. And these shades have no names on the front or on the back. So just kind of wing it here. So let's start with the first row. It is very creamy. So here is the first shade. Oh, very smooth. You can see this is more of like a silvery blue. It glided on very nice, and these shades are very creamy and buttery. So here's the second shade. That's pretty too. That's kind of like a light pink. So we have a baby blue and a baby pink. So let's go to the first matte shade here. Again, very creamy. This one's the lightest one here. Let me build that one up because that one is a little light on my skin tone there. And bring it higher to make it even with the other swatches. Here's the next one. Oh, very pretty. Another beautiful shade. That's a pretty rose shade. Very nice. I'm just looking at the swatches in the mirror because I see it better that way. But it is very smooth. It has that shine to it. Really good shine. Now this one I was really interested in. I might use this one for a look. Pretty bronzy shade there, like a rosy bronze shade. And the last one on the first row, this one is a pressed glitter. Feels very glittery. Oh, wow, that one's pretty. Let's see how that one will swatch. It is very gritty there. Hope you can see that. But it has like an adhesive to it because it's sticking to my arm pretty well. Now I know I've seen this formula before where it's a glitter shade and it has that adhesive. I'm gonna have to think back to where I saw that. Moving on to the second row. Ooh, that's got some shine to it. Kind of looks like snow. Here's a matte shade. Let me swatch that one again. Bring it all the way down here for the bottom. I know, just something happens when the swatch comes down to the second part of my arm. Just skips. That's a very nice shade. Kind of like a reddish brown. There's another matte shade. Putting these swatches very close together. You again build this one up. Very pretty rosy pink there. Here's the next one. They do have some shine to it. That one's very pretty. We got another matte. This is more of a mauve, I believe. Ooh, that one's pretty. And this is the last one on the second row. Wow, very pretty. These 4 would look great together. And I want to say that these 2 have a different finish than these metallic shades here. Got a different shift in there. Okay, the first one on the third row, this one's like an olive green. Maybe like a bronzy green, I would say. Here's like a burgundy matte. I know it kind of went over my little wrist bone there. Okay, now we're going into some of these purpley lilac shades. And here is the one next to it, another purpley lilac shade. Ooh, it has a little bit of a pink shift to it too. Those 2 would look good together. Now we're gonna see this black matte shade and see how pigmented this one is. All right, we got some pigment there. And then the last one here is another pressed glitter. This one's a little bit smoother than the top one here. Look at that. Okay, let's put you right here. That one's pretty too. Wow. So here are the swatches in the Heritage Cosmetics Be Mine palette. Very pretty. Not bad at all. Let me prime my eyes and then I'll do a different look with each eye. So we'll do 2 looks with this palette. For this eye, I kind of want to use these purpley lilac shades. So I'm going to put that on my lid. So let me go ahead and use this matte shade for a transition using the Yano Series 06. Right, it's not kicking up any powder, which is good. Let me place this on my crease or in my crease. That was effortless. Let me just build that up a little bit more. Now going with the 07, it's a little bit smaller than the 06, and let's go into this burgundy shade. I'm just gonna lightly tip that. Was that really lightly? And I'm just gonna place that underneath the first shade. Okay, I have to say that blended out very nicely. Let me go back in with the first brush with no product on there and just blend out that line. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this shade into the outer corner too. Instead of using a brown, let's use this burgundy shade for the outer corner. I have to say that they blended out very quickly and very nice. Now let's go into these two shades. And which ones should I go in first? Let's go with this one, which is this one. I think that's the deeper one, and put that more in the center towards the outer corner. So let's see how this one would look. This one is not as pigmented. It's a little see-through. So probably this one would work better in the inner corner maybe, but that is pretty. Now let's go into this shade and place that in the inner corner. This one's a little bit more lilac, a little bit more purple. Probably should have put this one more in the middle. So I think I like this shade better than the one I put in the center of my lid. So let's go ahead and put it all over the center of my lid. Let's do that, because I like this one. This one has a little bit more of a purple to it. Going back in with the second shade, just kind of build up the outer corner. I have to admit, it did blend out very nicely. It's not skipping. It is smoothie on the lid. It blended out very nice. It's not looking muddy. We go back into the first shade, which was this one, I think. Let me just go up a little bit higher. All right, I think that's all I'm gonna do with this look. Let me see. Well, let me get this shade, the second one. Let's see, and let me get a small flat shader brush. It was this one. Let me see what happens if I put that in the inner corner. This is more of a rose gold, so I can see some gold in there too. So I'm not going to put it that much because I want more of the purple. Let me use the other side of this brush and go back into this lilac shade and just kind of blend those two together. All right, I think that's all I'm going to do with this look. Now for this eye, and let's go with this olive green. Let's see, where is it? Right here? Yeah, this one. It's more of a, I would say, of a bronzy green. This one right here. For the transition, there's only two light shades in this palette, which is this one that's probably won't work for me, and then this one that I just use in this eye. So I'm gonna try to use this one as a transition. So if you're lighter than me, maybe some of these may be a little bit dark for a transition unless you use one of these two. But you know what? Let's just try that one. Let's just see how this light one will work on me. Maybe we can use this to set the primer. Yeah. Really can't see much on my eyes, so then let's go in this one. I'm just going to go in twice, place it in the outer corner first. Wow, yeah, that one is pigmented. I'm just going to use the outer corner, just keep it in the outer corner. But you know, it blended out to a soft brown, so let me just build that up then and place it in the outer corner first, and then just kind of blend it out from there. I may need a smaller brush. Blended out very nice. Me going with the yellow number 9 and go into that same shade. And again, start in the outer corner and then just bring it into the crease. Don't pay attention to my crepey lids and my not so tight lids. Kind of have to pull it a little bit so it doesn't skip. That blended out very effortlessly. Wow, that is a pretty brown shade. I touched the glitter. There's glitter everywhere now. I think I actually touched the glitter. Yeah, there's glitter everywhere. So I'm not gonna use the glitter today. I've already got some on my face. Let me just deepen that outer corner just a little bit more. Let's go in with this black shade. I wanna see how this one would work. I'm using the Sonia G Mini Booster and just pack that in the outer corner. All right, got something there. It's not turning gray when you blend it out. You try to get rid of that glitter. Now let me go into this bronzy olivey shade. Place that in the center. Let's see what we can use for the inner corner there. Going back in with the first brush and just blend that crease out. The inner corner here, I'm gonna go in with this bronzy shade. It has a little bit more brown to it than the olive. Instead of going with a light shade in the inner corner, let's go with this bronzy shade. And I think that's all I'm gonna do for the lids here. I have to admit, they blended out beautifully, not drying on the lids. It's not looking muddy. Don't see any fallout, except for the glitter. That was on my hand there. I don't know how I got it. I can see some glitter in my hair. Let me clean up, put some face makeup on, I'll come back and do underneath my eyes. For this eye, whenever I put something red underneath my eyes, it makes me look sick, so I prefer a brown. Let's go in with this dark brown matte shade. Let's just bring that up to connect. Okay, not bad. So for this eye, let me go in with this shade, the same shade that I use for my transition. I'm going to go in with this black shade and just place that also underneath my eyes, but just in the outer corner here. And bring that up to the corner. For in the waterline and lower lash line, I'm going to go in with this pencil by Kaya Weiss. It's a real pretty brown. Let me go with that one. Instead of black in the waterline, I'm going to go with brown. And also underneath my lash line too, up close. I'm going to put in my waterline now. Whenever I use this one by Kaya Weiss, it does give me a very soft brown look, which I do like for certain looks. Okay, now I'm gonna go for black on this side. My favorite one by Essence, it's now $4. Inflation, right? So I'm gonna put this one in my waterline. And a little bit in my lower lash line. Just gonna blend those two together, between my waterline and lash line. Let me put mascara on, finish my face, do my hair, and we'll come back and see how this looks and talk about this palette. And here are the finished looks, and what do you think, guys? I have to say that they blended out very nice. The matte shades just blended out nice. It's not drying on my lids. It didn't muddy up with each other. You can see the different shades that I used. And that black shade is very nice. It didn't, get ashy on me whenever I blended it out. I'm seeing a little transfer with this metallic shade, but I do get that a lot with a lot of these brands like Pat McGrath, even Sydney Grace. And the lilac shade, it's very pretty. I think these are two beautiful looks. You think I can get by with going to Walmart like this? I'll just blend in. Now keep in mind, I just noticed this here. This is from the eyeshadow primer. I didn't blend it out very nice, but look at the blend in those shades. And do like the lilac shades, very pretty. And here's the olive shade with the brown and black. Yeah, very pretty. I should have blended that out a little bit better, but yeah, it is what it is, I guess. But I have to say that these are two beautiful looks. I did bring out some Sydney Grace palettes so we can compare some of them. Of course, when I saw this one, Be Mine, it reminded me of this one, Be Mine, that Sydney Grace just came out with. So I think that they are different palettes. Maybe a few shades look similar. And this one is in the deep shade because Sydney Grace comes out with a light and a deep palette. Let me compare this one from the Heritage Cosmetics. This one's more of that bronzy shade with a little bit of rose in there. And let's try this one, Crush on You. I think this one's going to be a bit more of a taupe shade. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, that one's more of a taupe shade. And yeah, it does swatch a lot better. Now let's try this olive green. This is from Heritage Cosmetics. Let's put you here. And let's go with Eye Candy from the Be Mine, Sydney Grace. Yeah, this one has a little bit more green to it. This one's more bronzy. Now let's go to the Love palette, also by Sydney Grace. Let's go into this one, Deanna. Okay. Yeah, this one has a little bit more olive in it, whereas this one's a little bit more bronzy. Now let me swatch these two lilac shades from Heritage Cosmetics. Okay, so here are the two lilac shades from Heritage Cosmetics. Let's go back to Sydney Grace, the Sweet Indulgence. There is it's a little bit deeper maybe, this lilac shade. Let's try that. I have to say the texture with this lilac shade is a lot better than these two. Yeah. Yeah, a little bit more blue in this one. Now, I did bring out this palette from Huda Beauty. It's the Nude Light. There is a pretty lilac shade there. Let me swatch this. Let's use my pinky. Let's put you here. Yeah, this one's a little bit more pink. Maybe similar, close to this one in texture. But yeah, it's a little bit more pink. Let me swatch this one from Heritage Cosmetics. This pretty pink one, I didn't use it. So let's put you here. All right, let's go back to Be Mine by Sydney Grace, and this one, Flirty. Okay, two different shades. This one has a little bit more peach to it. Let's go to the Sweet Indulgence, and this one, Bubblegum. But let's put you here. Yeah. Well, I don't know, maybe that might be close. Yeah, that one looks pretty close. Yeah, pretty close, but I think this one just has a little bit more, it's a little bit brighter. You know, I just looked here from the Sydney Grace. Let's look at this one. Baby Cakes? Yeah, Baby Cakes. This one, let's put it up with this olive green one here from this one. Yeah, this one's a little bit more bronze. And I have to say that this one by Heritage Cosmetics, it does look green, olivey green in the pan, but it's coming out more bronze. Let me swatch it again and make sure I'm looking at the right shade. Yeah, I should have put Baby Cakes over here because this is the one by Heritage Cosmetics. So these two are the same. I just swatched that one next to it. So these two are different. Hope I didn't confuse you there because I believe this one is the one from Heritage Cosmetics up here. I thought I was swatching it next to this one. So from what I could see, don't have many shades that are similar from this palette to the palettes that I have. And the formula looks very similar to Sydney Grace. So these indie brands, they know what they're doing. The only two are these two lilac shades from Heritage Cosmetics, especially this one. It's not as pigmented as I thought it would be, but the one that I put in the inner corner and over it, this one, it's very pretty. Very bright, and I love the matte shades. They blend it out very nice. Not muddy at all, and not drying. Now, I didn't use the pressed glitter because it's not my favorite. But I'm glad there's only two. And that reminds me, I think I remembered the formula where it's kind of adhesive to it, these pressed glitter. Let me show you this one again. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like two different shades in there, like a yellow and a gold. Very pretty. I mean, put that in my hand again. So even though it is a pressed glitter, it has that adhesiveness to it. But this formula did remind me of the one by Byredo, the Fête Noir. This last shade here is the same thing, a pressed glitter. And let me see if I can swatch it because these pans are very narrow. Let me see if I can swatch it next to it. Yeah, that formula is very similar, but I have to say this one has a little bit more adhesiveness to it. Let me try to flatten out my hand. So yeah, that's the formula that reminded me of it. Very similar to the Byredo one. And this other pressed glitter, well, that one will give you a little something, something there. So I am really impressed with this palette by Heritage Cosmetics, the Be Mine palette. Was a little late for Valentine's Day, but again, I'm still impressed with this palette. Not bad for $32, plus the $6 for shipping. It is a little pricey for shipping, but I wasn't charged tax. And I hope that they do make more palettes, because really impressed with this one. Well, alright you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and me talking about this new indie brand Heritage Cosmetics and doing two looks with the Be Mine palette. And again, very, very pretty. But anywho, again, thank you so much for watching this video, my hair. If you like and enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you can see more videos like this. And you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.